that was like the lit hour like, dancing.
Yeah.
We might as well have been on Molly.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. So she's like, I love your content. And I swear to God, I think I went like this. Thank you. Her makeup in person.
Fingers in. And then she just went down and ripped them off. And I was like, I'm surprised she didn't just take off my underwear with her teeth.
I hate you. Well, this is the episode. I was giddy. I was, and I think you said,
so
I was
excited.
laying in bed last night, like waiting to talk about this. We have so much to talk to you about. This has literally been the greatest week of my life to touch on everything we're going to talk about, which literally all happened to me this week. We're recapping my wedding.
Oh my God.
We had the wedding last weekend. We are talking about you meeting Hayley Williams.
Yes.
We are talking about me meeting Trixie and Katya on accident. Wait till you hear this story. And then after this, we are recording with Allie Glines, the amazing beauty YouTuber. I talk about her every episode.
No, you haven't, ever.
I know. I never
ever spoken about her.
I never talk about her.
You never talk about her. She's a stranger.
We are finally having her on the pod. And she has been my favorite YouTuber for like 5 years. So this has been the most insane week of my life. It's been hard to go to sleep.
Where do we start?
The wedding.
Let's talk about it.
All right. I got married. Yes.
And that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
I'm married.
That's all.
I have my Casey bought these hubby mugs. Very cute.
That was so cute.
The day after the wedding, we had coffee in them.
Amazing.
Yes.
And so, wedding day, amazing. You snapped. Anybody that listened to the Spotify playlist, if you already saw it in the
music
previous
playlist.
episode, oh my God, you really said gay rights.
That music playlist. Okay, well let's back it up to leading up to the wedding. So, as you guys noticed, last week we had no video. And some of y'all need to do like maybe 5 seconds of investigating before you take to the comments, because right in the description in bold said disclaimer, and I explained how my hard drive crashed last Wednesday, which is even late for me to be editing the episode, and it took me 3 hours to regain everything, get it going. So thank God I had the audio, but I lost the video. So that was the start of the week in a way. And I managed to recover the audio, edited that, kind of got it pretty much all the way done. But that was stressful. And that was Wednesday night. So it was an outdoor wedding, and the tent was getting set up like 9 a.m. on Thursday. And then it was like hit the ground running. I bought like all the decorations myself. It was like a barren tent. And, I've been planning this for a year, designing it on Pinterest, whatever. So for 2 days, me, my sister Adri, and my friend Mark were a saving grace. We were on ladders for like 10 hours, 12 hours the first day, hanging vines, lights, flowers, everything, like kind of making the vision.
It looked so beautiful.
Thank you.
It was immaculate.
Thank you.
It was out of like a magazine.
I wanted it to be like just kind of like, because that's the thing I always say, it's hard to find masculine wedding themes. Like everything is very feminine. I loved the idea of just like dripping greenery, like to have that almost like garden kind of feel, like especially that it was outdoors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like hit the nail on the head with my vision. It was like so cool in that regard. I saved so much money, not only obviously decorating the tent myself, but like I designed and printed invitations to save the date, the menus, the name cards. Everyone had assigned seating, like with the thing in a holder, the name cards, the menus with the translucent cover around them. But it saves so much money because they charge you so much for shit like that. So
oh my gosh,
I love designing. So I was like, let me just do it myself.
Everything was literally immaculate. I was so like every detail too. When you're there, I'm looking at every detail and I'm like, I know this is all you doing this too, which is it's incredible and flawless.
On the table, the mixture of antique bottles and the gold candle holders. So, and there was tons of white candles going on, and we did rectangle tables, because circle tables, when you look into it, there's so much dead space. You really can only talk to who's around you, but those tables are like 10 foot long. And
it was the Last Supper, bitch.
It was Last Supper.
It was Last Supper, but both
Hogwarts.
sides.
It was Hogwarts.
Oh, it was
4 long tables.
It was Hogwarts.
It was the Great Hall, literally, with all the,
And the pride flags just drop instead.
Yeah.
We need a change of decoration.
Yes, totally. And and I just felt like, we got so much more space back.
Yeah.
And then it was super cool. It sounds silly, but like doing the seating chart because not only are you like group of friends together, people that know each other, family, but then it came down to like, where like you and Dan came, and then it was like, okay, you've met this couple. It was super cool to like almost put people, literally decide who was exactly next to one another, because I've been to weddings before where you're like, you and your plus one know nobody but the bride and the groom.
Right.
And then you're like, just like to the aunt that's next to you or whatever.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to make sure that everyone who they were next to, they were going to enjoy themselves, who they were next to all like the entire night.
Yeah. And I think even to that point too, of like you doing that and that level of thinking is completely you.
Yeah.
And, but even so, like putting people next to each other, that we were all making conversations like, oh, how do you guys know each other? You seem very familiar.
Yes.
And then we were making friends with other people that like were right next to us. And I was like, oh, that's so like, this is so great.
Because I hate that feeling when you're kind of at a wedding, you're just like you and your partner are like no one.
Yeah.
And with a rectangular table, not only are you getting the people next to you, but you can talk to 6 people. Like, it's just so much more communal, which is why I did that.
It was amazing.
Thank you. My sister had to iron tablecloths for 3 hours the night before. I thought she was going to have a mental breakdown.
Oh,
Katie,
my God. Yes.
My sister Katie's the most undomestic. God bless her. She's like CPA, valedictorian of her college, but she's not Susie Homemaker. And I walked in at one point, they were on like hour 2, and she's just on the dining room table with the iron, literally looking like she was ready to like press it up against her face, like going, because it was just like that turnaround of everything. Casey and I, let me know what you think about this. Casey and I were thinking of maybe doing a video on my beauty channel, kind of breaking down like how we did it exactly, what we bought, what the inspiration was like.
And I even think, full transparency, if you guys want to see that, I think even having the price breakdown of how much money you probably ended up saving doing it yourself.
Totally.
I mean, a lot of money still goes into it. Like, it's without a doubt. But you are saving so much in the end of like, by the time you pay the DJ and do all the food and everything.
Exactly.
Like, even the food though was just brilliant. Everything from start to finish was so well thought out so brilliant. Leave it to the gays to do.
Oh yeah, and we're fatties.
Job.
So cocktail hour was build your own grilled cheese bar, which that grilled cheese was erotic. I got the one with the chicken, avocado. It was just heaven.
For you to do the chicken.
I know. It had to be good chicken.
It had to be good chicken, yeah.
We did build your own sliders. And then they were passing around arancini, like the fried rice. Did you get that?
Amazing.
They were incredible.
Amazing.
And this is where, I don't know if I've said it on the pod before, but our caterer like called us fat. We added, so we had the 2 build your own bars.
You told me this.
And I think I told you. And she goes, and we added the arancini, and she comes back and she's like, that's a lot of carbs. She's like, I would recommend this. And I'm like, I know me. I know I'm not paying you to think. I know my audience. We want fried food. Like,
well, and if you're drinking heavily at a wedding too, I don't want a side salad with lemon vinaigrette.
You know what she recommended? Those slices of bread that are rock hard with like bruschetta on them and shit.
So I'm spilling it all over my soup.
Teeth. Yeah. Oh, and bruschetta dribbling down my white shirt.
Wait, whoa. She's saying that's better than having
arancini.
But the toast doesn't have carbs?
That's what I mean.
So what are we saying?
I'm like, girl, and I'm so happy.
Don't tell me what to do.
Because that arancini was lit. Then dinner was, it was all buffet. And it was good. Braised short ribs, chicken, marsala, and salmon. And then for dessert, we didn't do a cake. I feel like cake is always wasted. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I didn't have any dessert.
Me neither. Because that was like the late hour of dancing.
Yeah.
We were on, we might as well have been on Molly.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. So, we weren't on Molly, but I just No, we didn't do cake because think about every time you go to a fucking wedding, they hand out the cake. It's just Costco sheet cake with 2 sugary icing. You obligatorily take 1 bite and it all gets thrown out.
Yeah. And it such a waste. And it was incredible because you even, again, here we go, attention to detail. You had a build your own sundae bar.
So we did an ice cream bar.
And
it was
then you also had
sundae bar.
s'mores in a fire pit 20 feet to the left. I was like, this is just ridiculous.
So that I have to say, that is all my friend Bethany. So it was her house. We had the wedding out, which was so amazing of her to do it.
Such a great friend.
Which kind of the backstory, like she's been my best friend forever, like over a decade. She joined the Teacher America program back in 2013, moved to Arkansas like 10 years ago, was there. That's where she met her husband because he was in the Air Force. There's a big Air Force base in Little Rock. They got married. They've been in Germany for the past 4 years. And then he got stationed outside of like in Massachusetts where the wedding was. So now they live there. And this was the first time we've been driving distance in like 8 9 years. So it was just very kismet that it happened there. And it was so nice to have like a home base to, have all the decorations right in the house and go in and out. And it was just so fun, even leading up to it and decorating. And the fire pit was her idea, which was so great. And then we had like 2 cornhole boards out, and it's what I don't know, the way I think, or like whatever the case is. But at a wedding, you obviously want to make sure you as the grooms or bride, whatever, have fun. But it's really about, to me, it's the guest experience. That's why I love hosting parties. Me and my other sister are like obsessed with hosting parties, because I just love giving people a good experience. And at a wedding, it's like, exactly, if you don't know anybody or whatever the case is, it's like there was something for everybody to do. Mm-hmm. Like, if you didn't want to dance, like maybe the older people, some of them, whatever, you could go to the fire pit. There was s'mores, there was cornhole, and it was so nice the whole night. We were glued to the dance floor, but like to always look, and there was always people playing cornhole. There was always people and it was so fun because it just felt like such an immersive thing. Leading up to it, I will say as well, kind of going to the beginning of the wedding. So people always say, it goes by so quick, and make sure you eat because you're not going to eat. Mama ate. I was stuffed. And our caterers were amazing. They kept making sure to they asked us ahead of time what we wanted out of the grilled cheese bar, and brought it to us. That was,
I even heard them too when I was waiting. They were like, oh, the grooms want this. They want that. And it was specific. They were like, oh, he wants this. He wants that. Yes. I was like, wow.
They asked us ahead of time, and we didn't That's even. And great. This is super specific information, but if you are in need of a caterer/wedding caterer in the Massachusetts area, I'm going to put their information in the link down below. My photographer, I'll link all that information down below, because everybody blew us away. It was like not even a food truck. It was like a mobile kitchen. So they showed up with chefs and the whole nine. We were nervous. We were like, oh, we have to get garbage cans because people are going to have to clear their own plates and throw stuff out. We had no idea. They went around like we were in a wedding venue, clearing people's plates. They were unbelievable.
Timely
Blew
manner
us out
too.
of the water.
I finished eating, and I remember my plate just being there. I turned to talk to somebody, and I turned around, and she was like, "Are you finished?"
I know.
I was like, what is this white glove service right now, and where am I?
I was absolutely floored.
I'm at the Ritz-Carlton.
And trust me, they were affordable for what all that food was, like what all of that was, the experience. We tacked on the bar from them, which was amazing, because then when we had the bar service, which wasn't that much to add on, that meant that they brought all the water on the tables in actual glass cups. They pre-did all that. Then at the bar, they brought all the cups, all the ice. Because I was like, we're not worrying about ice. I'm not, you know what I mean? Bethany would have been run down halfway to the wedding to CVS to get more ice. Well, and we had to do it.
Ice is, to me, arguably the number one thing that people forget about for hosting a party. It's such a pain
in the ass, too. Because it has a shelf life.
And if you don't have enough space, or if you need to keep a party going all night.
Yes.
Incredible. Yes. The attention to detail with these caterers
were incredible.
Just amazing.
It felt fast, obviously, in the sense that I'm sad it's over, but I just was so present the entire time because I wasn't nervous and I wasn't whatever, and I was having so much fun. I said to Casey when I got home, I was so fucking happy you were there. Yeah, you and I were. Wow, that was me, guys. I'm so sorry. No, it wasn't. My volume's off. It came through my computer. So happy you were there because we were inseparable the whole time, and you were the only one matching my gay energy, which, speaking to, so the music was lit.
I'm not joking. Gave me everything I've needed and more.
Yes.
I was going into this knowing that if anybody's going to make a playlist to keep me from start to finish engaged,
I know.
This was better than the Chromatica Ball to me.
Because it was.
It was everything, because it was every song that I've wanted. And then you know what it felt like to me?
What?
It really started to feel like, oh my God, in Golden Girls when they did the dance-a-thon, where it's the last person dancing, if you're still moving, you win.
Yes.
That's how it felt, because I felt like I was American Idol with my number across. I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
There was one point I was talking to Dan, my boyfriend, and we were just having a conversation.
Yeah.
Rain on Me comes on. I said, excuse me. And I ran.
Do you know how many times I was talking to people? I was on the back deck with 3 straight guys around the house, and Believed by Cher came on, and I said, I'm so sorry not to be a gay, but I have to go. And I ran around the house, and someone was already coming to get me because they knew.
And just
and that's
just prancing.
That's
over.
always my philosophy. There was, I don't know, maybe during dinner-ish, he played maybe 2 or 3 slow songs because everyone was eating. But other than that, my philosophy, I was I don't care if it's banger after banger after banger, because you can excuse yourself and go take a breather, but I'd rather
die on the dance floor,
girl,
than walk away. during replay.
I will say the last hour and a half, he put us through it. It was groups of everything. It was replay, Babylon, which, guys, I have a video of Kevin. Replay winds down and Babylon starts, and as it's just the dun 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 dun, and she starts with the like Babylon
we only
lyrics.
had the weekend, yeah.
Yeah, we only have the weekend, and you see Kevin turn to me. We're 2 feet away from each other, and just go. The gayest scream. And then it went into Enigma.
I showed you what somebody said about me, right? That they sent me the video
play
of
Play it. This is exactly what you sounded like.
I get this DM from somebody and she was like, oh my God, I know what it reminds me of. This is what you sounded like.
Exactly what you sounded like. And that, for reference, is a screaming goat.
It was a screaming goat.
And it was replay right into Babylon, right into Enigma. 5 songs after that was Donatella.
No, I couldn't handle it anymore because it was not only like
Kylie
the level
Minogue,
of like
Britney Spears. It was nonstop.
Yeah, because you're going into replay, which is so like I'm like sweating, my eyes are rolling in the back of my head, and then all of a sudden I hear Babylon and I'm like,
I know,
reactivated, and I'm like,
I woke up the next morning and I felt like I had shin splints. I don't know what that is, but that's what it felt like. It felt like my bones in my lower legs were made of like metal. Like there was metal rods.
Yeah, when we were outside of the hotel the next morning, you were like, I was like, he needs a walker.
Yeah.
He was
because it was the kind of thing when you have that many bangers that it was like when the song's winding down, you're like, oh my God, okay, I have a cramp.
Breathe.
I can take, and then something would start up and you imagine you got the gay energy, the Holy Spirit, and you just had to fight through it because you're like, I have to dance to this.
Yeah.
And literally the last hour and a half was nonstop. We had like an after party, which was super fun at the hotel. And it was also relatively, I guess, in the scheme of weddings, it was smaller. Like I would say we had 95 guests or whatever, but it was literally the closest people in our lives. Yeah. Like, so it was nice because there was I'm not about that like obligatory bullshit of like, let's invite second cousin Sandra twice removed. It was so nice because it was like every person I crossed paths with, it was just
a genuine connection where you're like, thank you for being here.
Exactly.
Not kind of like fake, like, okay, thank you.
Yes. It could not have gone better.
It's going to be hard to top this wedding for me. This is like,
thank you.
By far going to be the best wedding of my life.
Oh,
and I was so honored to have been there. So
it sounds cliche, but it was perfect. It was like exactly what I hoped for. We spent the money we wanted to. We didn't go over budget. It was still like super affordable, which is like for a wedding, which is in retrospect, I would love to share the deets. Like
you should do like a full in depth and like how you saved money, what you did to like kind of like cut costs. And
I will definitely be posting more videos and photos as they come in from our photographer and videographer. We're going to take a break and we're going to be back with me because something happened at the wedding concerning Trixie Mattel.
Oh,
guys, I'm telling you, this was the best day of my life. So we're going to hit on that. And then we're going to go into Hayley Williams and me kind of literally running into Trixie and Katya.
We'll be back.
And we're back. So kind of intertwining. So the weather was a shit show because there was the wildfires in Canada, which, mind you, we were joking around leading up to it. The episode of Modern Family where Cam and Mitch get married, they need to evacuate their wedding because of a wildfire. So Casey and I are dying because we're literally Cam and Mitch, gay wedding, Modern Family, like having
my God.
And it changed the weather all over. So we were shitting ourselves being like, oh my God, what is it going to be like?
Yes, being on gay people time, I missed the shuttle. So then I drove over to Bethany's. Yes. And I remember when I was pulling up, it started to rain.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, son of a bitch.
I know.
No way now.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously? So I like run under the tent. Within 5 minutes, it was beautiful and sunny. Right in time. I was
so the ceremony was supposed to start at 5, and I think it literally was like 5:02. Rain stopped, sun out. And I was like, let's move.
Round up the troops, girl.
So 20 minutes before that, I am going to the bathroom, peeing. 99.9% of the time, I pee sitting down because lazy.
Always.
Yes.
Always.
So I'm sitting.
There's no other way.
Totally.
Ooh, there ain't no other way.
Yes. And the only reason I'm disclaiming that is because I'm saying I was sitting on the toilet. So I want you to know I was just peeing. But and then, you sit there longer on your phone. I'm sitting on the toilet. It's about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour before the ceremony. And Trixie Mattel started following me on Instagram. So I shit myself, and I'm not literally on the toilet.
Could you imagine being like, perfect place to do it?
Yeah. So I metaphorically shit myself while sitting on the toilet peeing, and I die. So then I'm like, oh my God. I check my DMs, and she DMs me, like, so sweet. Oh my God, I love your content. I love it when one of our products makes it into one of your videos. It's thank you for supporting me, yada, yada.
Wow.
Couldn't even handle it. Literally just like, oh my God.
You almost have to like pulse check and be like, is this a fake account or is this really you?
Because 20 minutes before I'm going to walk down the aisle.
That is like the biggest like shotgunning a Red Bull. It's like that boost of energy to be like, okay, great.
Yep. So that was a high. Like
be like, Casey, I'm sorry, this now overshadows the
wedding. Wedding canceled. Yeah. So
Trixie
I was like,
followed me. I gotta go.
Yeah, just riding that high, like adding happening right before the wedding. It was just so insane.
So cool.
So cut to about a week before the wedding, I had got invited to. Trixie and Katya did I Like to Watch, like the Queens Who Like to Watch on YouTube, their Netflix series on YouTube. I got invited to the I Like to Watch, their first I Like to Watch live taping in the city, which was... So the wedding was Saturday and this taping was Tuesday. I obviously DM'd Trixie back and I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like gushing, saying you were so inspiring to me. I love you so much, yada, yada. And I was saying like, I'll be at the live taping. Can't wait. We go to the taping. It was amazing. They watched the new Black Mirror. Joan is awful with Murphy and Salma Hayek. You have to watch this episode. It is lit. And I can't always handle Black Mirror because sometimes it leaves me feeling dead inside because it's too real. This one was
horrible.
Still mind-blowing the way Black Mirror is, but it was like comical and a little bit lighter. It was so campy, which is the screening, like, so I am a part of this like PR group and it's an LGBT PR group. So it's mostly all gay people in this audience. So just living for this. So when we think they're coming out to start the taping, because we watched the episode, then when we think Trixie and Katya...
You're thinking who's coming out?
Trixie and Katya. So we watched the Black Mirror episode, the audience, then they set up the I Like to Watch set, the couch, and
oh my God,
it's pitch black, and we see two people walk out, like sitting on the couch, waiting for the lights to turn on. And the funny thing was, I said to Casey, I'm like, that's not them. And I knew it was girls. I was like, that's not them, because their hair wasn't big enough. Like, I just knew it was biological women.
Yeah.
Lights come on, Murphy and Salma Hayek. In front of us. In front of us. Selma Hayek is hysterical.
How big is this venue?
It was the Paris Theater in New York City. It's like a kind of, it's a movie theater, but it's like a little bit more intimate-ish. There is a little balcony, but not too many people. Selma Hayek is hysterical. So then Trixie and Katya come out and like sit with them, and Selma Hayek makes a hysterical joke about how like she goes, this is the first time I'm on a couch with women with bigger boobs than me. Like, and Trixie was like, well, I get to put mine in a suitcase at the end of the night. Yeah. Like, they were just whatever.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So then they left, and Trixie and Katya watched the episode, and it was so cool to see the behind the scenes of how they film I Like to Watch.
Yeah.
Like, so it's in segments, and we could hear the director like saying, and it was going to their ear to do like the intros of like, okay, now Joan finds out that yada, yada, yada. And they would repeat it and then the clip would start. And it was really cool to see like the behind the scenes. And you know what, too? It gave me so much perspective of like, obviously we idolize them so much and all their stuff is so amazing. And it's like, it was so cool to see a behind the scenes in the sense that they were phenomenal, hysterical, professional. It went off without a hitch. But just seeing those little moments in between where, one of them got the title wrong or a word wrong and they repeated it. It was humanizing in a way. It was so cool. Like, and it made me, I was thinking of you and I, and I'm like, oh, they're you and I doing this. Like, it's that same where, we always get to consume everyone's content at the end when it's edited and perfect. And it was so cool to see these two people that are like, iconic for us, just see them do it
for themselves. Yeah. And like if they mess up, it's like we don't get to see them mess up.
Yeah. And it was the first time they've ever done this live. So they didn't even know kind of the format. They were kind of feeling their way through it. And that was just so cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So Kasha Davis was there. Marsha was like 2 seats away from us. The taping was everything you wanted it to be. Hysterical, brilliant. Okay. So me and Casey leave the venue. And Casey says to me, he's like, oh, you should like go up to them because they were on stage. You guys know I said it in the episode about meeting Selena Gomez. I'm like, listen, these girls are exhausted. I'm pretty sure Trixie had another gig at 2 a.m. So I was like, no, whatever. It's let them live their life. They're tired. They got a long night. Okay. So we leave and we leave the theater and we walk up to the next block and we realize, and we're kind of like just chilling on that corner. You know how you wander around New York City a little bit, like where the hell are we going? I was like, oh, we went the wrong way. So we have to walk walk back. So we have to pass the theater again to go where we needed to go. And this is like 10 minutes after we left. So like, I'm like, this isn't a Broadway situation. They're not coming to the stage door. I'm like, whatever. We're just walking back through the crowd. I start walking back towards the theater, and I think they came out to get a professional photo of them in front of the marquee. That's what I think happened. So never did I think they were going to do that. So as I'm walking back, the minute I'm under the marquee and walking, they're just walking at me and Casey. And Trixie puts her arms out and goes, oh, like gesturing to me, knowing who I am. And she's like, oh my God, comes up to me, hugs me, smells flawless, hugs me.
Hugs you, which is crazy.
Hugs me.
No, Trixie, yes. she don't play that.
Hugs me, has both of my hands like this and just looks at me so endearing. And is like, I love your content, Kevin. Because I was so unprepared to encounter them, literally run into them on the street.
I would have dropped dead.
I felt my knees go into my ass. My soul was back on 58th Street the minute I saw them coming at me and her to me. So she's like, I love your content. And I swear to God, I blacked out through the entire experience. If I have to recall, I think I went like this. Thank you. Her makeup in person, especially as a homosexual who loves cosmetology, the art of hair and makeup, obviously to us, is arousing. When I do a blowout on somebody and I get a certain curl, it makes me horny. So to see her in person with the wig and her makeup so flawless, I'm not kidding you. After I said thank you to her, I don't think I made eye contact with her again because it was too beautiful to look at. It's not like normal glam.
No, it's a presence when she walks into a room.
And I remember when I did it for Halloween, when I was in her makeup and hair on the inside, I felt like I could have robbed a bank.
Yeah.
You're not yourself. It's this otherworldly thing. And she was otherworldly. And it's crazy to think like, wow, there's a person in there. And that was shining through. But on the exterior, breathtaking. Wow. So I literally looked down. And so
And Katya's like, what's up, bitch?
So I look away from Trixie to catch my breath and remember the English language. And as I turn to do that, Casey's right here and Katya is in front of him. Then my brain is like, oh, that's fucking Katya. Then my brain melts more. And I just hear my husband telling Katya that he also suffers from profuse sweating, which Katya jokes around and goes, oh, we're sisters. Right after that, the photographer who I think took their photo, because we were wearing Trixie and Katya shirts, comes up and is like, oh, can I take all 4 of your pictures? And comes up. And so all 4 of us, it was so tornado-y that we were like, yeah, of course, whatever. So we pose, we take the photo, which I didn't even introduce myself to Katya because I was so blacked out. Like I lost the power of speech because I just was not prepared for this interaction to happen. Then she was like, Trixie was like, said, so I'm almost positive she said to me, like, I'll talk to you soon or I'll talk to you later, kind of it, which insane. And they went inside. So we're walking away from them like Pepe Le Pew floating down the sidewalk. Me mainly, I had no blood left in my body. And I said to Casey, I was like, did I say anything? Did I speak? Because the entire exchange, I lost the power of speech. I forgot. I didn't say anything. I said thank you to Trixie and I think that was it because I literally was just like...
Well, when you're not expecting it too, it's like, oh,
yes.
I mean, just years of appreciating what they do.
Yes. And that's the thing. We also, from a standpoint of so much of our love of them is obviously a fan of what they do from an entertainment standpoint. But I think you and I, especially being in the makeup space and in the beauty space, I always say just the work ethic. And especially with Trixie, I mean, it's just so, and now me doing what I do on social media, her having everything she has with the full-blown produced shows and then her YouTube channel and the makeup and the cosmetics company and just the work ethic, she has just been always, she is a professional hero to me of that level, of that, what the kind of a benchmark I aspire to emulate, that kind of a career and that ambition. And I know it'll look different, but it's just like, in my toughest days, I say, if this bitch can do this and then, sleep in the makeup, get up, do DJ at 2 a.m., sleep in her makeup, get on a plane, go to London, do something at 6 a.m. I always say if she can do it,
and then she's like, I'm going to stop at the motel and then just make sure every towel is folded.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's so
admirable. There's a different level of it, and you and I have always felt that way. I literally don't remember this photo being taken. Look at my face.
Oh my God. You are like having an out-of-body experience.
Christmas morning, 5 years old. But I said to Casey, I was like, when we were trying.
But why are you, Casey, and Katya are making the same face?
The same face, literally, yeah. And Trixie's serving.
Oh, you can't handle it. And
literally.
You, Casey, and Katya are making...
Beaming.
And oh my God.
I didn't know what this photo was going to look like because, like I said, I wasn't even in my own body. I was expecting to download this photo and see myself just slack-jawed, drooling. Like, I had no...
You'd be like, yes.
Yeah, just... like, because I literally was that disassociated from my body.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was unbelievable.
That is incredible.
And I went home and I was like almost panicking a little bit because I think in this industry, especially being older, like my biggest fear is somebody ever thinking like I'm rude, or especially what we do, content creators like me. I've met so many content creators that act like they're Jennifer Lopez. And I'm like, dial it down.
Calm down.
And I never want to give that impression. And I was like saying when I got home, I was kind of like overthinking it. And Casey just kept saying to me in the Uber, he's like, she said she loved your content. Like appreciate the moment, because I was just kind of in hindsight, like, oh my God, like I didn't say anything. I just felt like I was nervous that my loss of remembering the English language, like I just didn't want it to come off some way. Because then I'm, of course, driving home and I'm like, there are a million things in my head I would have wanted to say, but I just didn't in the moment. So it was funny. I DM'd her afterwards and I said, well, I wasn't planning on running into you on the street, but thank you so much for like the kind words. I was like, sorry, I think I blacked out a little bit. And she liked the message. And I was, because I just wanted to be like, I wanted to let her know I was debilitated and not talking for a reason. But it was just, it was
so cool.
It was insane. Like this week, literally has been the best week of my life. You know, when you're so happy, giddy, like when you see a cute puppy and you're like, I just want to punt you. Like you're that level of like, just like that's what I've been like.
Something. I forget what it's called, but it's like when something is so cute or so
hysterical happiness. Like I don't even know what
like you're like,
yes.
I'm like, oh girl.
Incredible.
What a week.
Casey had the foresight to book massages after the wedding, which
amazing.
Was genius. How do you feel about getting a massage?
So I have gotten a massage one time. I hated it.
Really?
Well, I hated it and I loved it at the same time. Yeah. So I feel weird when there's a stranger touching me. I don't know why. Like, it's just something that makes me feel very like a little like
I could never be naked on the table.
No.
I always have something on. That is insane to me.
Well, I went to a Massage Envy when she like left. She like comes in the room and she introduces herself, and I was like, because my friend had recommended somebody, and he was like, oh my God, she's amazing.
Those undies now.
Yeah, and then she was like, okay, you can get undressed, and then I'll be right back. So I'm like standing there to my own will, and I'm like, do I take off everything or is it just no? So I literally went down.
A doctor tells me to take my underwear off. If you want my underwear off, you're pulling it off yourself.
No,
I'm not taking it off.
Oh my God, wait!
I don't do that.
I went to the dermatologist.
I'm too prude.
Once. Wait, is this not normal?
Where is this going?
So I went to the dermatologist, and it was
how many
like
fingers?
It was like a fist.
Yeah.
And
just
so I went.
Them all.
I went. That's what I went there for. That's what I went there for. And I went to the dermatologist. He was like, "Have you ever been here before?" And I said, "No." And he was like, "Okay, so we're gonna do like a full body."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." So he was like, "Yeah, take off everything." And I was like, weird. Like, I'm just meeting you. Buy me dinner first. There was like an assistant in the room, and she had been standing there with like a notepad. Like every time he was like, oh, like, because I had some moles removed.
Yeah.
I'm talking from my toe to my scalp was like combing front and back.
At least it's thorough. Yeah.
No, and he was like making notes. And I just remember he was like, go ahead and flip over for me. And I'm just standing there, and I'm just like standing there, laying there.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
And then the assistant in my ear was like, you okay?
The assistant in your ear
was like, she was like checking in to make sure I was like,
you had an earpiece in. I'm like, what fucking dermatologist is this?
Yeah, and I'm like, no, and she was like, are you good? And I was like, honestly, like, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like uncomfortable. And so when I went and got a massage, I literally left my socks and left my underwear on.
Yeah. I tell them to not touch. I'm too ticklish. If they touch my feet, I will kick them in the mouth. Yeah.
The only place I told her not to touch, I feel like, what did I say?
Your nipples.
No, you know what? I don't think I said anywhere. I was like, let full reign. I was like, it's my first massage. Let me see what happens. She asked me my pressure.
We are different in that regard.
No,
I'm overly cautious. No. I was like, I'd rather tell them too many things, see how I like it, and what they do touch. Yeah.
So I was like, immediately I got in the room and I was overthinking as I was like doing it, and they walked me there. And then when she told me, I was like, honestly, I left my socks on. So maybe I was like, oh, the pressure of like my sock being on will like give it some. She goes, Yeah. And she took my socks. She went.
She took them off.
Wait. She took her index fingers and her thumbs. She put her index fingers into my socks and she goes, well, these got to go. And she ripped them off. And I was like, and I was like laying down on the table and I'm just like,
no, that's not all right.
No, she went index fingers in. She goes, well, these need to go. No, literally like 50 Shades of Grey. And she went, and I was like, oh.
That seems unprofessional.
No, and I was like, it was the most thorough massage. And there was one point too.
That's an understatement.
No, and she was like, because she could tell I was like flinching at my feet. And she goes, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. I was like, maybe we don't need to focus on the feet. I'm sorry. That was my bad. She like kept kind of like touching like my ankle. And I was like, yeah, we're getting too close.
You look down and your foot's in her mouth. Like, she's like, she's just like a toe and mouth.
Yeah, and she's like,
I can't believe she took your socks off.
No,
that's like a boundary violation to me.
Well, and I guess because
I left it on for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, I had said I want to focus mainly the whole time. I was like, I don't care if you do.
I always say
my
that.
shoulders, my
shoulders
neck,
and my back,
and my upper back. Like, do everything, get all up in here because this is where a lot of my tension is.
Totally.
When she was doing this area, she put this she just
a little.
She went like over here, and then she was like, she goes, relax for me, and then like snaps my neck, and I was like, I was like, do the other side.
Yeah, she fucking.
She Sasha Colby me like like oh
what
my god.
What massage envy was this?
No, and I was like, is this part of the package? And I'm like, oh my god. When she put this like weird like pillow underneath, and I was almost like elevated, and then she just took it, and
she put a block of wood. And snapped your neck.
And she goes, any last words?
Yeah.
And I literally was like, I was so scared when she did it to the one side. I was like, I was afraid to move. I was like, oh.
Did you watch what was it? Haunting of Hill House? The breakneck woman.
Bent neck lady standing over me in the fucking massage. And I'm like,
you're fucking walking out.
And it's me. And it's me. It's the ghost of me just looking down like, hey, bitch.
Oh my god.
No, I'm sweating talking about it right now because it was honestly so.
That seems. I understand why you've only had one. You had a lot of weird experiences. I cannot believe she took your socks off. That's a boundary cross.
Fingers and wait, 50 Shades Christian Grey. Just
but that she like
she went
sensual.
in. So I'm laying down. Imagine it. She went into my socks.
No.
I need you to feel that. I'm gonna do it to you later.
No,
I need you. Fingers in, and then she just went down and ripped them off, and I was like,
that is not okay.
No, it replays in my head.
Because you asked me to strip.
The scars on my mind are on replay.
If I left them on, I chose to leave them on. Do not remove my clothing.
For a reason.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm surprised she didn't just take off my underwear with her teeth.
That's crazy.
No, I literally was like, I feel so violated.
Yeah. No. That's not okay.
No.
Okay, me getting a massage, I almost feel like if it hurts more in the moment, it could just be because you are so tense or they're really working out and not. But this guy, at one point, I think he had me in a half Nelson. It was so, and thank God for the hole in the table. I am literally like I am as though I'm giving birth. I am in that hole, literally like fighting, and I have to remind myself to breathe because I just spit all over you because it hurts that bad. Like, it hurts so fucking bad. I'm somebody too. I don't know about you.
Did you ever say ow? Like in the middle of it and be like, ow, bitch.
Okay, so this is my other thing. I also think I am too trusting and too introverted. Where if they're telling me...
If something hurts... Oh, no. I'm not speaking up.
If something hurts, he could detach my leg and wouldn't say anything.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Then I'm also somebody too that I'm too trusting of like... When someone tells me that's their job or that's their profession, it is what it is.
Yeah.
He could flip me. I could flip around and open my eyes to him juggling my kidneys, and I'd be like, "Trust the process." Like I wouldn't.
And you're going gray, and you're like,
"Yeah." I would.
He's putting your kidneys on ice.
Yeah,
and he's like,
would not say anything. Yeah. He could harvest my organs, and I would literally just be like, "I'm just gonna feel better after." Like, I don't say anything. I need to speak up, and even if it hurts, like the thought of me as an introvert saying through that hole, like lighter pressure, I might as well, like, it's I could never.
The whole massage, I was uncomfortable. I wanted it to be over.
No.
And I was like...
I could feel him slice open my back and play my spine like a piano. And I would just be like...
A fucking xylophone. And he's like...
100%.
He's like, how's my pressure? And you're like...
And I don't think that's right.
Like,
I think I need to...
And and it's just so funny, too, because I'm the same way.
Because this one should have been a little bit more enjoyable in the moment. It felt great afterwards, but this one in the moment...
If anybody is rendering a service and I am the client, I am not speaking up. I am not speaking up.
I'm also somebody too, when you sleep, I feel like something's wrong with like the circulations on my arm. When I sleep with my arms above my head like this, do your arms go numb?
Yes.
Yes. Is that normal? I don't know if that's normal.
So my...
Like if my arms are above my shoulders sleeping,
I can't sleep with my arm under my pillow too high. If it's under the pillow, it'll go numb. But if it's a little bit above, numb. My arm is going numb right now, holding it like this. I actually I don't know what that is.
Something wrong with this? So I knew that, and then at one point he had my arm behind my back and was like lifting it, this guy had me. He could have had me, in a half a Nelson, like. In stone cold.
Oh my God.
And I just was taking it.
WWE, slam me down, crack a chair over
he could have been juggling my organs, and I'm just too trusting. I'm like, well, he's the professional. And I just don't,
Wow. Yeah. And then, wait. The worst part about it is that when she was like finishing up, she put my socks back on for me. She literally shimmied my foot. And you know how weird it is to put someone else's sock on. So I'm just laying down face down on this table. And she's just...
Ew, it gets hooked on one of your toes.
And then she's like...
No.
Yeah. Wow, trauma. Yeah, I need to get a different massage. Like, so if anybody has any recommendations, like, I'm not going to Massage Envy.
So we'll have a spa day and we'll get facials.
Oh my God, facial. Okay, maybe we'll do that. Oh my God.
Scrub.
We'll be like Gaga and Salma
House
Hayek.
Of Gucci.
And House of Gucci in the mud baths and just slathering the mud. That's the level of what I want to do.
Facial. We'll get our holes bleached.
Yeah.
Totally.
God.
Totally. Perfect place for a break.
Oh my God.
How was meeting Hayley Williams?
It was... No, I'm just kidding.
Oh!
No, I'm just kidding. It's funny because I've heard from multiple people now that like allegedly that she is like hard to work with, not great to difficult. Me, whatever. Honestly, it was such an amazing day. She literally, for being a celebrity, showed up early. Because she wanted to take it was at meet and greet was at Ulta. I've loved the brand even before it was at Ulta, which is like
colors.
And it was always Good Die Young too. As soon as they launched, I was like hooked.
Yeah.
So Hayley and Brian show up to Ulta. They show up early. So Brian O'Connor was her hairstylist. Yeah. Okay. So the co-founders, and I'm thinking in my head, celebrities that own a brand, they're showing up late.
Oh, they were early. You said.
So I'm thinking, here they are. They're gonna show up late. Whatever. Their call time I think was like 2:45. They wanted to be to Ulta. Their meet and greet started at 4. They walked in at 2:15.
Oh,
they showed up early. They were showing up early regardless to take pictures with all of the Ulta staff. They were like, we want to show up early. They showed up even earlier than they should have to make sure that everyone had enough time. Sweetest thing ever. Yeah. She was talking to me for a little bit and she was like, oh my God, you look amazing. And then even Brian was like, oh my God, your makeup, hair. And I was like, I need to be like presentable. Yeah. And just honestly, the sweetest people ever. Who shows up but Aquaria to the meet and greet. So I got to like, so I got to meet her and like see her again. And
do you remember when I called Ariel Versace Aquaria?
Yes.
At DragCon. So awkward.
I repressed that memory. But in all fairness.
And I knew it the minute it came out of my mouth, but then it was too late. So
also too, Ariel Versace wasn't on Drag Race yet, so it wasn't as bad. You called her Aquaria, and then I knew it in the moment, so I was kind of like, oh, maybe Ariel didn't hear you say it.
Oh,
so I was kind of like, ha, Johnny, let's go.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe we should walk away.
And that was the last time I went to DragCon.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was so much. I forgot we went to Drag.
Yeah.
That was the first DragCon in New York when we went together. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Meeting Hayley was great. There was an incident that happened. There was an older woman. She was going through. Now this is like the 4:00 meet and greet where it's all the fans, right?
Yeah.
And this older woman walks into Ulta, because people are still shopping, right?
Okay.
And have no idea what is going on.
That's surprising that they just had her like raw dog Wild West, like in the middle of an Ulta. Mm-hmm. Like you would think it would be a little bit more of like a private.
Yeah, they had like stanchions.
She's not an influencer. She's fucking Hayley Williams. That's like having Katy Perry in the middle of
a Sephora.
That's a little unhinged.
Yeah, like, don't you think we should have a little more?
Yeah, like, but I was surprised it was even open to the public in that way. But
100%.
No, not like, that it's open to the public.
Hours.
That's exactly. It should be open to the public, but not like Susan, who's coming to repurchase her mascara, is like, oh, who's that? Like, that's a little wild.
This woman just like unhinged goes, I know her. I know Hayley. We're friends. And you could tell she's just like
off.
And something is not right. There was, and what bothered me too, there was security that like, they were not fazed by this person claiming to know her and was like pushing through people to get to her. I'm like, someone should stop her.
Yeah.
Gets up to Hayley and literally and Hayley, as like respectfully as she could, she was like, hey, like, how are you? And just like was trying to like entertain it. But in my head, I'm like, oh my God, somebody get in there and get this woman away from her.
Yeah.
And then she like laughed about it after, like when there was like a break and everything in between. And just watching her, she was like, oh my God, like, thank you so much
for loving. Did Hayley say she knew her?
She had no idea who she was. So they were like, ma'am, you need to leave. And she goes, why? What have I done? What have I done?
Yeah.
And then she's like, she started getting louder and louder, like, I haven't done anything. What did I do? I didn't break a law.
Yeah.
And I was
she's
like,
my daughter and my sister.
Yeah. And mother.
Mother. Yeah.
She handled it like a champ.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's where I'm like, I guess I'm like,
well, it's interesting because it's like, and people who have said maybe she's hard to work with, it's like,
did you cross a boundary?
Totally, because that's the thing. And I've realized that when people recognize me, it's like if you have one bad interaction with them, they're going to peg you as an asshole, even if you're 100%. Having a bad day or whatever.
If you're like, you're crying and they're like, take a selfie with me, Johnny. And you're like, you know what, can you like give me a second, like whatever. They're going to be like, oh my God, he was so rude. Yeah. Like,
but we talked about this, I think, on the Selena Gomez episode. We were basically saying like, because someone had told me Jessica Alba was like a nightmare when they met her. Hayley Williams may be a pain in the ass to work with, but if she's recording her album, maybe she's super particular because that's her work. But I appreciate that when she's showing up in this space, that because we said that on the Selena episode, you know, you're asking the people you're meeting, like these influencer events or whatever, to virtually hawk your shit. You're trying to butter us up as salespeople.
Oh, yeah.
Put on a happy face. You don't need to hug and kiss everybody, but don't be cold in a way. So at least there's that discernment. And she's also older now. Who knows?
And it's even like it's amazing too. But watching her interact, and that's the thing I was like so impressed with, and even the both of them, like they were having the most genuine fun time with everybody.
That's cool.
Like they actually had to tell people like, we got to wrap it up and like take your picture, like we have a whole line. Because she was like going on and she was like, you look incredible. Like she was just making every moment matter for every single person
she met,
influencer or fan. It wasn't like dead behind the eyes, like meet and greet. Like
yes
like she was genuinely excited to be there.
That's really cool that you met her. I love Paramore.
Me too. It's been, honestly, it was one of those things too when I met her, and I was like, honestly, like since I was like 13, 14, I was like, you really changed the music game for me. And I was like, you led me into, you know, loving Gaga and everything. But I was like, you were one of those people at first that like, I was like not afraid to express myself. I was like, seeing you with your orange hair made me want cool hair. And I was like, you were just such like a badass person. And I was like, I respect you for that.
Yeah.
Doing it when it wasn't cool.
Totally.
Yeah. I got to show you this thing. So, like, no tea to people who get like anything done. This is not, I'm not reading her. No. This is like, it is called a PDO thread lift. So it's like, it's the alternative to getting a facelift.
Okay.
Right. So it's threads that they look like they insert the threads and then pull them and then the threads stay in, and apparently the threads dissolve. I want to research it more. It's very interesting. So it's the alternative to getting a facelift. I was scrolling on Instagram the other day, and Angelina from MTV Jersey Shore was getting it done. And it's not who's getting it done. So I'm not reading her. Like, girl, more power to you. It's the fact that like I saw what was happening and the commentary. You were watching this. So I'm gonna have you. Oh
God, am I gonna see like a cut open face?
No.
Okay. I can't do that shit. I don't know how people are surgeons.
So I'm gonna show this to you.
Oh God.
So this is only a snippet of what was happening.
Okay. Oh God! Why is Ryan doing that? What? You are lying. What the fuck is the end result of this?
It's that it gives you.
If you told me they went to Michael's and bought a spool of wool and just put this in her brow
with the sewing thing to remove stitches. You're gonna read me for not knowing the name of that too, like a bolt of fabric.
Oh my God.
And like we probably won't show this because if anybody's like a little squeamish, like like trigger. I was like, the fact that this is on Instagram and I'm
just
like
desensitized. We're too desensitized to everything.
I get it. Like if you're getting paid from like the office or whatever, but show just before and afters, please.
Show before and afters. I don't need to see
I don't need to see the whole lifting. And she goes, and it doesn't even hurt. And I was like, whoa, mama, that is like
if
jarring.
you have a partnership with a heart transplant thing, I don't need to see the cut open chest.
Yeah.
Let me know the other details. I'll gladly look at your sponsored content.
If I'm under the knife ever and I'm unconscious, I want you to come in and put a thumbs up and make me smile. Like, if that's the content that they want, they're going to get it.
Hand up your ass.
Yeah. I need you to Jim Henson me, girl. Call me Elmo. You are going to Jim Henson me if I'm ever under the knife for anything.
Guys, we got to leave something to the imagination.
Right. So I literally needed someone else to experience that. And
that's frightening.
I needed you to see that.
How does it dissolve but still stay up?
Yeah, I want to do my research because I looked it up and it said that the thread dissolves because it's like a certain type of like medical grade thread that dissolves in your skin.
All I know is when I get plastic surgery, way down the line, I want Cher's plastic surgery because she looks flawless.
Hell yeah!
Best plastic surgery in the game because she doesn't look scary.
Yeah,
and she just doesn't have a wrinkle, but she looks amazing.
Right.
Long live Cher.
Oh my God, I thought you were about to say she was dead.
Oh my God, I've thought about that before and I'm gonna bawl.
I know.
Cher's almost like
80. She's like 70?
I can't even talk about it. That is it for another episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Oh my God. What an episode.
What a
Wedding, Trixie, Hayley Williams.
Jam-packed episode of content.
I love content. Oh my God, I'm so ahead of my content right now. You guys have to watch next week's episode with Allie Glines. We have Allie Glines on the pod. Thank you for watching another episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Make sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a little 5-star review. Make sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel to get your podcast a day early on Sunday. It's available to stream everywhere else on Monday. Thank you for shopping at Jack in the Box. Please pull around to the first window.
Oh, that was your Jack in the Box voice.
Wherever you guys are, I hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. And remember,
you are beautiful.
Bye, guys.
Bye.